coming up on 9:30. My brother and I were going to be going for a sail today, and he got over here and said, if you want to stay here and work on your boat, you want. And it just really kind of mentioned 2 or 3 times, you know, want to stay and work on your boat. So I said, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So anyway, I'm back out here. I'm in the process of taking the cushions right off the boat for the winter. I've already got one down below. I'm going to get the other one off. Get the cushion covers back on them and store them very safely against the bedroom wall, down the bedroom where we stay when we come down here. So that gets that out of the way. It also clears things out of that V-berth area so that I can get in there and begin to work and clean things up after the trip out to the vineyard. Did a lot of... Everything just got tossed around in there. I was sleeping in there. My brother was sleeping in the starboard quarter berth. And anyway, just I got a lot of work to do to get this boat cleaned up and ready for the winter. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get this other cushion off from here. And we'll bring you up to date in a few minutes when I get things at a point where we clear out that port locker, where I've got a whole bunch of cooking stuff which I never used. I used the fry pan and a couple other things, but boy, best laid plans of mice and men, you know. And so anyway, I got to get to work. All right, we'll be back with you in a little bit. All right, so here's the port locker. Most of this stuff will be fine. This one, bringing off of here. These are little individual things of half and half. These are probably about 1.5 years old. I don't think I'm going to trust them. I'm going to chuck those probably. But anyway, the rest of it's just pots and pans and stuff like that. And a nice little cutting board I just made for the boat before the trip. Those Folgers crystals will keep. Splendor will probably keep fine. Anyway, I'm just going to do a little bit of clearing out of here and then put it all back and just leave it for the winter. I think this is all stuff that'll keep pretty well. I don't think I'm even going to open this because a brand new thing of Folgers coffee. And I bought it to go with this percolator right here, which I've only used one time. It worked. You know. Don't have a Keurig on a sailboat, at least not on this sailboat. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get this baby cleared out of here, and I think we're just gonna seal this back up and let her be. And I think we're good for next spring. Don't have to think about it. So, all right, where's my lid? Yeah, here we go. End of story. All right, done. Well, guys, I'm going to attempt to disassemble this faucet again. Last time I tried to do this, we were out on the waves and at the mooring, and the joint where it threads together down underneath here was so jammed. Keep in mind, this thing's 50 years old. It was so jammed tight, I could not do it, and I was not willing to go ahead and start breaking plastic, which is a plastic fitting that is with the collar that threads up around it. So anyway, I'm going to try to do this, and I don't want to film it because I don't want to be embarrassed. Because honestly, you got to crank on this sucker, and wish me well. If I get it apart, I'll show you. In the meantime, I'm going to get out my... where did I put it? I bought a pair of channel locks just to do this job. Where are they? There they are. Okay, I bought this wonderful pair of channel locks up at Harbor Freight. Cheap, but they'll work. So I'm going to try to do this, and we'll let you see it if we're successful. Well, I pulled my tank out and completely emptied it. This water's been in there a good long while, and I need to just empty it out. I'll put fresh water in it if and when I get this undone. So far, it's being very stubborn. The problem I've got is that I'm working up on and behind the down. This is the down tube for the drain, right? Well, the collar that I'm working on, that I'm trying to loosen, is back behind this and further up. So it means I'm reaching up in there virtually blind with my channel locks and trying to turn up here and turn down there. And man, it's just being a pain. So back to work. Well, I'm not one to give up easily, but after 2 or 3 sprays of WD-40, I've got this all loose. It has a locking collar. The locking collar I had no problem with. I can spin that right up and down the barrel. Okay, the problem is the bowl part that threads onto the bottom of it, where it's got a spout that goes to the hose that goes out to the outside of the hull, and that's the part that is on there so hard. I just can't move it. And like I said, I sprayed it 2 or 3 times with WD-40. I may just walk away, and next time we're down, I'll try it again. You know, just kind of keep working on it and see if I can get that bottom bowl here. Let me see if I can get a picture of it and show you what it looks like. I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to get a picture of it. Well, you can see what I'm dealing with. The whole bottom of the sink and the drain is right in the way of being able to work up and behind this. Okay, there's the locking collar. That spins right down. It's that stinking bowl at the bottom with a spigot on it, the spout that goes into the hose. That's the thing I cannot get to let go. You know, I've got to get that thing to spin off from there in order to be able to take the whole unit out and do the complete refurb on it. I've got all the new gaskets, the diaphragm, I've got all that stuff to go on the faucet once I get that off, but that's being the bear right there, that stinking thing. I wish I had an easy solution. I'm walking away for now. I'm just getting totally frustrated. You can see where I've kind of dug it up with the edges of the wrench I've got there. All right, back to this later. Just took my tiller off. I mean, it's in good shape. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it or anything. I did get a touch of the paint that I had used for the seats when I was in under the tarp that day painting these seats. I guess I touched that, didn't realize it. But anyway, this is going home. That little bit of paint is coming off of there, and she's going to get a fresh coat or 2 of varnish for the winter and be ready to go back in for next spring. But anyway, yeah, she's in pretty good shape. Anyway, man, I can't believe how long ago I think I built this, 3.5 years ago at least, when I was right at the very first of when I started working on Little Girl. Well, guys, this is something I've been wanting to do ever since I pulled her out of the water. In the first place, when we got back, we were right back under the pine trees. You can see all the wonderful pine needles all over everything. It's just, I hate it, but it's my space, so that's what I'm going to have to deal with. But this morning, which all this preempted going to the thing I'd been planning, I noticed some stuff on the combing here, on the top of it, and I said, what in the world is that stuff? And it was dried on pine sap. I mean, just in the short time that she's been out of the water, I had dried on pine sap on here, and then some fresh drops of sticky stuff on the pad here, where the winches are. And so anyway, I got out my paint thinner and completely cleaned that off, then used Windex to take the paint thinner off, and then I got to doing what I've been wanting to do all along, and that's to maintain these combings, maintain the pads, and I'm using linseed oil. Now, I understand these are all Cetoled with everything's got at least 3 coats of Cetol on it, okay? And besides being stripped, cleaned, and Cetoled, that's what makes them look as good as they do. So what I've decided to do is give it a try. Nobody's told me I can't, or that that's the wrong thing to do. And so what I've already done, I've gone over all of this with linseed oil. And I'll tell you right now, not only does it look great, but it doesn't feel oily at all. It just feels like it immediately took it and shined it up and cleaned it up. And yeah, I think I'm going to do this every year. And who knows? I don't know how many years I'll be able to get away with this. But you know what? I got a lot of compliments on the woodwork on this boat when I had her in. And one of the things they said is she looks like a classic because of all the woodwork in her. And so anyway, that's my plan. I've already got both port and starboard. Here's the port over here. I already did the same thing over here on the starboard. Everything's completely cleaned up, and a coat of boiled linseed oil is put over all of this. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good idea. We'll see how it goes. This is, by the way, I'm not stopping here. Tow rail's got to get this too, but probably not on this trip. Oh, and one last thing about linseed oiling these combings and pads. I want to show you something. Look at the dirt on this. That was just linseed oil on that. I cannot believe how much dirt it got off when I started going over these. But see, these have been out here, you know, for a couple of years. I don't know, was it 2 years ago I put the combings back on? Anyway, the point is, I'm probably going to do this on a regular basis just for maintenance sake. And right now, since we're getting some sunshine, I think I'll probably go ahead and get started on the tow rails. Maybe try to get some of these rotten, stinking pine needles. I'm so sick of them. All right, I'm going to get to work. But boy, I'm happy with that. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, these combings and the pads came out really sweet with by putting some linseed on them. And you guys on Seafarer, tell me if I'm doing wrong, but so far I'm loving this. It's looking good, and it's feeling like I certainly don't need to put any more Sea-Tall on for this coming season. Well, guys, I have been over every stitch of this woodwork out here with linseed, and I'm really, really happy with it. This is the first time I have done anything to the companionway, and that's one of the first things I did on the boat, was rip out all the old, just ratty looking stuff and put brand new, let's see, what was I using? I was using Meranti at the time. Brand new Meranti woodwork for the companionway and so forth. Well, that all got completely gone over with the linseed oil, including the original companionway doors, or what they call washboards. And I hadn't gone over these, and boy, they were dull and looking like they had a whole lot of just aging and salt on them. You can see now that they, hey, I wanted these to stay this way because these show the age of the boat. These are 50-year-old washboards, and you know what? I'm happy with them. I think it gives it quote unquote the classic look, as I kept getting comments after we got her in the water. So, all right, guys, that's it for now. I got to go get out on the beach with my wife and go for a walk. So, been an awesome day. Cleanup is almost done. I got a little bit more to do out here in the cockpit, and we'll be able to put her under the wraps and drive away happy that at least the rotten eggs are off the boat and things are looking good. So let's talk future plans here. After getting little girl out on the water and sailing her a good bit for the 2 weeks that she was in, week and a half, whatever. Yeah, I was not at all happy with the halyard arrangement on this boat. Very awkward, very difficult, and things are going to change. And so I'm going to turn this around and show you how this boat was set up initially. At least it's been ever since I got it. And these look original. They look like they were probably there to begin with. And anyway, let me turn it around. I'll show you what we're talking about. Ever since I bought the boat, these have been here. 2 jam cleats, 2 cleats directly below. I don't know that those are original. This is a 50-year-old boat. These could have been put in at a later date. But right now, the way that the rigging is set up on this boat, the halyards are all done off from the mast. But at the bottom of the mast, there is a double block, and where you can bring your, well, both the jib and the main halyard down to it, run it through that, and the blocks run port to starboard. In other words, they're not fore and aft, they're port to starboard. And it's right in the center, right behind the mast. What I would like to do, at least for the main halyard, is to run it through that block at the bottom of the mast, out to the corner up here. I don't have the tarp pulled back right now. But anyway, have a block right up here just ahead of this runner. Where it could turn the corner and come back right through here, run through a jam cleat, and right here. What that means is you can conceivably raise your main right from here. Right from here. In other words, if you ran that halyard all the way back, run it through the jam cleat, cleat it off, okay, you could conceivably on you know, just have it so that you could. Anyway, you got the idea. Have it so that you can raise the main right from the cockpit. I know guys do this all the time, and on a much more modern boat with a whole lot of fancy equipment and so forth. From what I can tell, I think I can probably do this with just one deck cleat, one deck block that would basically just be right up on the forward edge of this. It just turns the corner and comes back right to here. And then once it comes back there, you can run it through there, cleat it off, and you're good to go with the sail up. Then when you want to let it down, just go ahead and undo it off your cleat, pull it out of the jam, and let it down. I don't know your thoughts and ideas, guys, on Seafarer particularly, but that's my idea. I really was not happy with the halyard setup on this boat when I was running her. Like I said, once everything's up, once the main is up, once the jib is up, happy as a clam. I love this boat. I mean, this boat handles wonderfully in the wind. But anyway, that's future plans. And for right now, I think that's my wife texting me and saying she's ready to go for a walk on the beach. So I probably am out of here for a few minutes. So, all right, guys. Just wanted to share some thoughts of what we're going to be doing in the future. Okay, so here we are down in the bilge. Those paper towels that are in there were for one reason only, just to take them up and keep it from sloshing around and everything. I put those in way back when I was out on Martha's Vineyard. Anyway, the point is, I'm just going to get all this cleaned up. When we came back to the boat, I don't remember when it was, but there was, I think it was right after we'd gotten into Martha's Vineyard. And we went out to supper. We got back, and I stepped below, and I'm hearing this thing. What is that? It was the bilge pump. And man, a lot of water had gotten in, and it's because of, again, that thing right there with all the bucking through the waves and everything. There was just a whole lot of leaking down into here, and the bilge pump kicked in, and man, it just drained it just about. Well, it's down to just about where you see it right now. It's pretty much stayed stable. But time to get this cleaned up, and we'll move on. This is my next to the last project, and we're done for this trip. But chomping at the bit to have this bilge clean for the winter. So here is my awesome American flag pennant that came with Little Girl. And when I got this off the boat, and remember this had been on the boat, furled up, ever since we took her out of the water almost a month ago. And when I brought it out and opened it up, I had a lot of mildew. I don't know, so I'm going to see if I can zero in on this without getting in my own light. You can see the little flecks of it here. Believe me, it looked so much worse before. And Sharon said, you cannot use bleach. You use bleach, you're going to kill your red. And I didn't want to do that. So I took this in and I put it on top of my mom's dryer. Nice big broad flat surface. And I just went to town with just plain old Windex and just scrubbing it. And well, it didn't get it all out, but I'll tell you that if you could have seen it when I took it out of the boat after unfurling it, this is so much better. I mean, it's just barely visible now, and I would dare say I probably have killed the mildew. Anyway, I just was almost sick when I opened this up and saw, and you can still see the remnants of it there, but I think we're going to be fine. I do not want to use bleach on it. I'm going to research it and see if there's something else I can use to take out the remainder of it. but I'd say we have pretty effectively killed it. It's all just down in this corner. Now here's a little bit up here too. But some of this may be old. Some of this may be from years ago before I got her. Anyway, I love this old flag. She's a beauty. Very, very nicely made. I mean, this is done in the old style with everything stitchery. Everything. It's just beautiful, beautiful work. I don't know where they got this, but very proud to have her aboard, little girl, and hang her off the back. She's a pretty old flag. So, and it looks to me like somebody stitched in a different white there. I don't care. She's just beautiful, even from a distance. She's a pretty thing. All right, just wanted to share that with you and let you know what I had tried. If you have mildew in your old flag, at least it's worth trying. It gets rid of most of it. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and do a wrap-up on this trip. Been a good trip. Got everything done that I wanted to get done. The boat is basically stripped out for the winter. All the food stuffs are off. All the everything's been cleaned. Yeah, everything got pretty much done the way I wanted to get done. Let me just tell you about some of the things that I was afraid of before we ever put her in the water. And I'll just kind of go through the list, and then I'll tell you the final observation on it. I was afraid that, let's see if we can see it right there. See that beam that goes across just inside the two bulkheads there? Okay, I was afraid that that beam would not hold up the mast. Hey, by the way, this is all because of having a 50-year-old boat, and I'd never sailed this boat before, okay? I was afraid the beam would not hold up under the weight and the stress of the mast and all that kind of stuff. I was afraid that the chain plates would somehow give out. I was afraid that there would be leaks through the old through hulls that used to go to the head. I was afraid that there might be a leak through the knot meter through hull. Through the little plug that's down in the keel, which that one I wasn't really much worried about because I knew about that one. I did a really thorough job on caulking it and plugging it and so forth. But I'll tell you, I was afraid of all these things. And I was also afraid of, that at any moment I might get leaks up through the keel because that pin was missing that the centerboard hung on. And I wasn't sure how that affected it, whether or not there were holes through. I could not feel anything up in there where the pin came out. I think it probably just broke off. But anyway, you know how much of that happened? Zero. Not one single bit of it happened. The beam supported the mast. There were no leaks through the through hulls, no leak through the knot meter, no leaks anywhere basically. And basically, the beauty is, once she was in the water, man, she sat right on her lines. Absolutely perfect. Actually, a little bit high, What a sweet, sweet boat. Definitely worth the $1 I paid for her. So, anyway, all my fears, none of it came true. And everything that I was hoping for did turn out, and that was it. Once we got out on the water, that she would become a really nice little sailing boat, and she certainly is. Through the winter months, we're going to be working on getting that centerboard done, feathering those edges. Next spring, Lord willing, we're going to try to get that pin in that has to go all the way through the keel from one side to the other, and it has to be precisely placed so that when that centerboard hangs on it, the centerboard is going to have clearance and come down perfectly, and everything line up with that lanyard hole. Another one of the things that we're going to do through the winter here is replace that silly scupper tube that was leaking out there on the vineyard. Well, leaking all the time she was in the water, basically. But, look, good trip, and got everything done. I don't need to worry about it. When we come back down, I need to get to work on the engine, winterizing that, actually getting it started. I had a problem starting it right at the very end, and I got to get that started, and yeah. But got a lot of stuff done that I wanted to get done. And well, I know it's not sailing, but this is Randy Gardner continuing on with restoring Little Girl and getting stuff done that needs to get done to make her a more, an even better sailing vessel. Been a ball. I've enjoyed it, and hope you've enjoyed the videos that I put out about while she was in the water. But we're kind of back in the restoration mode for the rest of the winter here, and you'll be getting these periodically as we get stuff done. Thanks for coming by, Restoring Little Girl and Sailing.